Hello, loved ones. Thank you for joining me today. And if you're new to the channel, then welcome to the family. Today, we will review Married at First Sight Season 17, Episode 5, Take Me Down to Paradise City. If you're excited about a particular couple, please see the timestamps in the description box. To be a part of the congregation, please subscribe. To be part of the conversation, please comment. And to contribute to today's offering, please drop a like in the collection plate. And with that, let's get started. This was another great episode. The episode opens with the group meet and greet, where the couples update us on their first impression of their stranger spouse. They have arrived in Cancun, Mexico, and they are on day 2 of their marriage. We see Cameron's sarcastic side as he indicates that the point of the honeymoon is to do something physical, in which he was trying to, throw a little shade at one of the other couples who said they wanted to do something physical. I think that he has a very dry humor that will take a little getting used to. Claire's introduction to the conversation is that she will get really annoyed with Cameron. My question would be, is she already annoyed with Cameron? It bothers me when people go directly to the negative aspect. Cameron does admit that he is a handful. Lauren feels lucky. She is physically attracted to Orion and believes that he is really considerate. Orion's answer is more surface. He thinks things are going well and he is enjoying getting to know Lauren. It appears that Lauren maybe likes Orion more at this point than Orion likes Lauren. Emily shares that Brennan has exceeded her expectations and she is happy. And Brendan, his thing is that things are going well and their vibe is good. So far, so good. We then move back to Negative Nancy, aka Claire, who says that her and Cameron are very different people. She indicates that this is not a bad thing, that this will work to their advantage. She is excited to get to know Cameron, and Cameron says that he is not the easiest person to be around. He can be a lot, and Claire is taking it like a champ. And I never understand people who are aware that others have a problem being around them. I don't understand, why don't they just change? Why would you want being around you to be a lot for another person? If you are that person, or if you know that person, please shed some light on this particular subject in the comments. Becca and Austin say they nailed it. They are twins and we should just move on. Cameron, in an off-site cameo, indicates that he is jealous of Austin and Becca's connection, and he is wondering why he and Claire are finding it difficult to connect. Well, Cameron, could it be that you are difficult to deal with? And that is your words, not mine. In answering the question, is intimacy on the table, Cameron says that he is looking for a spark that happens during the first few dates, and he would like for it to happen on the honeymoon. I think this couple is giving mixed signals to one another. I actually think they both like the other person, but when they open their mouths to speak, it would give the person the impression that they are not into the person. If I was Claire and I heard Cameron say that he was waiting for a spark, that comment would make me think that he is not into me and he does not have the spark that I would hope that he had on our wedding day. So that would be discouraging to me if I were Claire. We have seen what happens to couples who begin in this manner. They generally go down the hill and then they say no on decision day. So I'm not sure what the fate of this couple will be. Lauren and BECCA, they want to wait until the intimacy is built up to an irresistible point where they have no choice but give in to the intimacy desire. So that is what we got from the couple's interaction and what their first impressions is. And we see that even by the end of this episode, some of that changed for some of our couples. Moving on, we are at day 3 of the marriage for the couples. BECCA and Austin. BECCA and Austin are getting to know each other's morning habits, and BECCA believes that they are equal parts weird. Austin believes that they are both a good balance of silly and serious. They bond over both believing in aliens, and Austin eats in the bathtub, which was really weird, so I agree with their assessment of one another. BECCA and Austin enjoy a boat ride later on in the day for their couple bonding activity. BECCA says that they are learning how to interact with one another, and she is an overthinker, but Austin is able to balance it and offer her reassurance. The best thing I gained in this conversation is that BECCA communicates what her needs are, and once she does, Austin responds, which I think is huge in a marriage. So I really did enjoy hearing that about this couple. We can't expect our spouses to read our minds and yield to our hidden expectations. So the fact that she is already communicating her needs and he is yielding to what she communicates, I think that makes them off to a great start. BECCA and Austin then go to dinner and talk about their childhood. BECCA grew up privileged, which I love because I get so tired of hearing the overcomer stories. I mean, can't we just have great childhoods that, are empowering instead of how we had to overcome? Austin grew up as an only child. He appears not to have a problem with that, but to have embraced it. BECCA is open to having children, but it's not a requirement. And generally, I would think this was a roadblock, but I loved how she explained it. She says she has a desire to interact and impact the lives of children, but how that comes about is what she is open to. It could be her own children, she could foster kids, or it could be kids from the neighborhood. But it appears that Austin is really set on having their own kids, so he says that he wants 2 children, and it would be 3 years down the road in the future. And they had a really healthy conversation about this, in my opinion. I think something else for BECCA, because she does deal with illness, that may be a concern of hers in terms of if she can't have children or how children would affect her current health stage. So she may talk about that later, and maybe I'm just projecting, but I would think that that would be a concern of hers as well. We next see BECCA and Austin poolside. BECCA shares that she is unable to get in the pool due to her surgery, and Austin is totally understanding. I wanted to say to BECCA, girl, don't even worry about it. Some of us don't get in the pool because that's not our thing. Some of us don't want to get our hair wet. So I really did like that Austin was okay with her not getting in the pool and didn't make her feel bad about it. I think this is common among men and women because men are more apt to not have the barriers that we have in order to get in the pool. And I think many times they do enjoy us just being there in the atmosphere. So it's now day 4 of the marriage, and BECCA and Austin are having breakfast outside, which I love to see when the couples are actually outside eating at a restaurant, having breakfast, because I get tired of them having breakfast in bed every day of the honeymoon. So this was a great change of scenery. They discuss BECCA not driving and how they are both okay with that. Also, the social aspect of their relationship. BECCA shares that she has overcome anxiety to the point that she was even scared to go to the store. Therefore, she now lives life to the fullest and she enjoys everything about life. I think this was so huge. I am so glad that she was able to share her story of anxiety and how she got over it. I think that this can be really empowering for other people who may struggle with anxiety. They may be able to gain inspiration from her. I wish she would have talked about it a little bit more about how that happened or what she went through, just to give others who may struggle with that an idea of how they can do it too. But I really enjoyed, I love when they share things that are just really life circumstances so that those of us who are watching, we can actually learn from that. They then enjoyed kayaking, nothing really new, but I did love that BECCA was like, hey, can we go kayaking? And it appears that BECCA is taking the lead on the activities that they're gonna do so that Austin can make sure that she feels comfortable in spite of her illness. So I really did enjoy watching this couple. Many may find them boring, but not for me. I love to see a couple getting along with no drama. I think this is like a more realistic view of how people interact in the first few weeks of their meeting each other. I feel like most of us, when we meet somebody new, we start dating them, that it's like a fun, happy time. I think that it takes a little time in order to get into the rough patches, which we see a lot in the first few days on Married at First Sight. But I enjoyed watching this couple. I do not think that they are boring, and I hope this lasts. I hope this is another Nicole story from last season where we can, see the dramas of the other couple, but that we can find peace in at least one couple. So let me know what you think in the comments about BECCA and Austin. Do you think they're boring? Did you enjoy just the interaction between them without the drama? Let me know what you think in the comments. Moving forward, next up we have Emily and Brennan. We see Emily and Brennan, who is up for breakfast and eating at a restaurant instead of in their room, and thank you for the change of scenery. Emily lets us know that she fell getting out of the shower the night before and she broke her arm. However, she kept it quiet and did not want to act like a brat. Although I think you should be comfortable with your spouse and letting them know when something major happens, and I do think hurting her arm was something major. I'm actually glad that she was aware of her personality and how it comes off, because I would have thought she would have been a brat, because that is the vibe I personally get from Emily. So I'm really glad that she is aware of how she may come off, and she actually thought about it and decided how she wanted to respond in this situation. So, I do think that she should have told her husband, but I'm glad that she is aware that she can come off to be a lot. I actually watched this episode twice, and the first time I watched it, I thought she had hit the left side of her face, because the left side of her face was fiery red. So I did not really catch on that she had hurt her wrist. I thought she might have fell and hurt the side of her face. And of course, I related it to alcohol, just, because I think she drinks a lot, but maybe that wasn't the issue at this time, and that was a projection. But maybe her face just being a little red is just her undertone of her natural skin without makeup. So let me know what you think, or if you saw that, or if you thought that she hurt the underside of her eye when she fell. So the next time I watched it, it made it a little more clear to me that it was actually her wrist. They had meaningful conversations during this interaction. Emily shared that she had no balance, and Brennan is a more structured person. They discussed that Brendan would take care of breakfast and Emily would be responsible for dinner. Emily also handles her finances recklessly, and Brendan is more of a saver. They both agreed that they should live below their means, which I think everyone should live below their means. And it sounds like Brendan is really good at doing that. It sounds like Emily is not in financial debt or anything, that she is not aware of where she spends her money, but it sounds like I don't know. I don't know. To me, it sounded like she does save, or that she does have some type of safety net set aside, but then the rest of it, she just spends freely. And honestly, I think most of us do that if we do not have a budget, which I am encouraging all of you to live on a budget. You should be budgeting your finances before the month begins. And I believe in zero-based budgeting because I am in finance. So zero-based budgeting, where you budget every single penny before you get your check. Because if you don't tell your money where to go, you will have no idea where it goes, which is what happens to Emily. But I do think that she has some type of savings, and that she does not, but then she just spends the rest frivolously, which I'm not mad at her. I mean, I like to have money and spend it, when I want to, how I want to, and not just like, I can't do this because of money. If they actually implement their agreements, I would say their marriage has a decent chance of survival. It appears that they are a good financial match, which sometimes on this show, we know that they do not match people in terms of finances. One made like last year, Stasia and Nate, or maybe they were the year before, because these seasons are going by so quickly. But they weren't a good financial match. But I feel like this couple may be a really good financial match. I love that they both want to have a legacy, and they both want to build stability for their future and for the future of their children. So although I think they have some major differences that is really going to get them in trouble, I do like that they keep emphasizing that they have the same values. So maybe that's going to be what's going to help this couple just kind of wade through their differences. Emily and Brennan's couple activity is a shot tasting, which I am not surprised, because I see Emily is someone who drinks way too much. I think that it was wrong for her to try to encourage Brennan to drink. No, you got to drink it all, and all of this kind of thing. And I think he liked it for the moment, but personally, I think that's going to get old. I think that's going to get old really quick. But, hey, they're on vacation, and, I guess you can expect that from vacation. But I think when they get home and in their regular life, and he sees just the type of lifestyle that she lives, I think it's going to be different than his. And I think it's going to cause problems moving forward. Brennan says that he believes he can share things with Emily, and that she would not judge him for it. And I agree. I think that if Brennan shares things that are negative with Emily, that she is not going to judge him. However, I think that he is the judgy one in the relationship. I think he is going to judge Emily, and as they move forward in their marriage, I think he's already judging Emily, because through their conversations, although she has not had a steady boyfriend, it appears that she has been very loose when it comes to intimacy with men. And I would like to know how Brennan feels about that, and if that is the reason why he is going to want to take it slow. Because I think that although she does not judge people based on what they do or those type of things, I think that he is the judging type. And I think that he is going to be more of the grudge holder in the relationship. And I think that's going to cause a problem for them later. I think men are okay if they are gigolos, but I don't think that they want their wives to be. I think men more so want purity from their wives than just an out and out, where they are loose with their bodies. Emily and Brennan then enjoy the beach, and they discuss intimacy, where he talked about he wanted to take it slow because Emily is ready, and she is just like, I will follow your lead. And he said he wants to gain an emotional connection, and he said that is because he hasn't done that in prior relationships. But I think that's because he has an issue with her past, and how she has portrayed her intimate life and the fact that she is willing to just, go fast. I think that gives him a sense of what she may have done in her prior relationships. I don't think this couple is going to make it. I think Emily's intimacy history is going to get in the way, as well as her drinking. I think she drinks too much. I think it's going to become uncontrollable. I don't think that's the life that Brennan is going to want. And I think that Brennan has a temper. I think he's hot-headed. And he said he gets sappy sometimes. And I think sappy means rude. And, I think, isn't he from New York or something like that? He claims it on, like the New Yorkers. I think that is just a cop-out for I can get mean and hostile and that type of thing. And I think we're going to see that. And I think that's going to be the problem for Emily. So I don't think this couple is going to make it. But let me know what you think in the comment section. Moving forward, next up is Cameron and Claire. In the morning cameo for Negative Nancy, aka Claire, she still is focused on the negative. She is focused on she is a morning person and he sleeps in and he needs to wake up because she is hungry. I feel like everything that I have heard Claire say is negative. And I just and maybe it's just me, because once you deem a person one way or the other, that's what stands out for you. But I think that she is negative about the relationship, and I think that is going to cause them issues moving forward. Later that morning, Cameron expresses that he is confused about what Claire wants regarding physical touch after a conversation they had on this subject. Cameron, if you are confused in the conversation, ask for clarity. Based on Cameron's responses in other instances, he does not appear to be an effective communicator. If you are trying to have a conversation on a subject, it's because that person wants you to have clarity. So if you are not clear, ask clarifying questions. So at the end of the conversation, both of you are on the same page about the subject. This is so irritating to me in real life. If you don't understand what I am saying during a conversation and you don't understand the conversation or what I mean, then ask for clarity. Whew, Lord. Negative Nancy, aka Claire, is giving him a hard time about his outfit. She then makes several negative comments like he looks like a dad and she should have 3 children trailing behind him. And this has given Cameron a sense of insecurity as it relates to their relationship. Honestly, Claire was not in some stunning hot outfit that was amazing. So I don't understand why she was giving Cameron such a hard time. Therefore, I was unclear of what her problem was with Cameron's outfit. He had on a combination of different blues, and I thought they complemented each other personally. He had his shower shoes on, and he also had a hat on that would protect him from the sun rays. I think he was dressed for the occasion. I think that these little comments from Claire is the beginning of the breakdown in their relationship. I know that Claire has said on the after party that Cameron made some negative comments about her looks, and that may appear to have hurt her feelings. However, I do like that when Claire talks about Cameron and his outfit or his personality, I like that he does not attack back. He defends himself, but he does not attack back on camera. I don't know what he's doing off camera, but he doesn't attack back on Cameron. And I think that says a lot about a person's personality if they don't kind of retaliate when you're saying negative things about them or their character or their look or anything. And I think if they are able to overcome that, this will be one of the reasons why. I don't think that Claire should do this because you don't know the other person. So you don't know the other person, how they're going to look at it. Some people may be jokey people and that may bother them, and that may not bother them. And some people may. But if you don't know a person, I think you got to really get to know them before you go just making little snide comments that are negative. And I don't know, maybe she doesn't see it as negative, but I do. I think that is very negative. I think it's very inappropriate. And I don't know, I don't like it at all. I don't like it at all. And we've seen what happens in these situations with other couples, which is, what was the last couple from that? What was the redhead guy and his spouse last year? You know, things like that. I think that breeds, and we've seen things like this happen on a honeymoon that they cannot get over moving forward. But they go paddle boarding for their couple date, and they appear to have fun and enjoy each other's presence. In a studio cameo, Cameron says that he is attracted to Claire and believes that the more things they do to see the fun side of one another, that it would help them to be more comfortable with one another and help them to relate to each other's in a physical, intimate way. Claire asks Cameron if he thinks repairing bikes is boring. He shares his passion for bike repair and how he relates it to mental health, and how repairing people's bike gives them a sense of a positive mental health state, and how it helps people get out and relieve stress, and also how each bike repair is different. So it's not something that you can get bored with because each break is different. And I loved his answer. I loved his passion. And Claire indicates that she is in her last semester of her master's program. We next see Cameron and Claire at dinner. And during dinner, Negative Nancy, aka Claire, rises her head again by talking about therapy. She asks Cameron about therapy and what he thinks, and Cameron admits that he went to therapy as a child and he believes therapy is a good thing. Claire gives him a hard time for not currently going to therapy, and Cameron believes that the things that he wants finds him. She interprets that as he does not have to work for the things that is set before him. Cameron tries to clarify and says that he takes advantage of opportunities that are presented, and difficult Claire, she interprets that as he thinks everything comes easy to him. Everything that he does comes easy, and if things are just going to come to him. And I feel like she low-key was calling him lazy, but he owns his own business. He owns his own bike repair. He came from another country and carved out a space for himself. I feel like that is not somebody who is just sitting back and relaxing. He is taking advantage of opportunities that come his way. And he tried his best to turn it into a positive. And her thing is, we're so different. And his thing is, we're not different. We see things differently, but we're very much alike. And I love that he is trying to turn her negatives into positives, but I really did not like Claire in this conversation. I am so disappointed with Claire because Claire was my number one. I'm like, I'm excited to see her. She is made for this show because she is a therapist. She is going to know how to interact with a married at first sight situation, but she does not. And I think maybe it's because she is judging Cameron, and maybe she does not like him as much as I thought she did, because I thought that they really did like one another. But I think that a better conversation from this would have been for Claire to ask Cameron, why did you go to counseling when you were young? It sounded like he went to counseling when he was a child. So who took him to counseling? Who sent him to counseling? And why did they send him to counseling? And when he said that he wasn't in counseling now, I would have explored that a little more. Like, why are you not in counseling now? Do you think that counseling is just for, or therapy or whatever she wants to call it, is just for when you're going through things or certain instances? I would have tried to glean a deeper understanding of what he thought about therapy, why he was not in therapy, and why he went to therapy as a child. I think that would have given her a better sense of who he is and what he's had to overcome, and also his thoughts on therapy. I wish Cameron would have asked Claire, are you in therapy? Because personally, I believe in therapy. I think therapy is good. I think people should go to therapy. I have been to therapy, but I'm not in therapy right now. I don't believe in continuous therapy. Like, that's just something I'm going to do every day of my life. Not every day, but on a continuous basis in my life. That's not how I think of therapy. I think for me, therapy is when I am trying to either work through something or get over something or to explore something, then I go to therapy in order to help me with that particular issue. And when I have gained a balance, because I'm not going to say some things we don't get over, but gained a balance on that item, then I don't go to therapy. I think that this would be a really good time for the therapist, which Claire needs her own therapist. She needs Dr. Pia, and she needs her now to come and check in on this couple, because they are getting off to a very rocky, rough start. And although maybe it is Cameron and he just doesn't do it on camera, because some people know what to do and what to say when they're on camera. But I think the problem on camera is Claire. I like her and I want her to succeed and I want to think the best of her. So I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt, but I hope this couple gets it together. At this point, I don't think they'll make it because of Claire. I think she's just negative, and I think that can wear on you. But like I said, she has made some comments on the after party. Therefore, we don't know if we're getting the real Cameron on camera. But I hope that Claire can turn it around, and I hope that they can get some counseling from Dr. Pia or one of the other experts so that they can try to move this relationship in a different direction. But as it stands now, I do not see hope for this couple. Let me know what you think in the comments. Moving forward to Lauren and Orion. We first see Lauren and Orion in a beautiful body of water, maybe a private swimming pool, but they are at the point of physical touch. Orion says Lauren is his biggest priority and he wants her to feel safe. Lauren says once she is able to feel safe and supported and be herself around him, they will be able to go deeper from there. They share their off-camera conversation where they have agreed that they would have one kid, but they will be open to adoption. In his on-site cameo, Orion says they were matched well by the experts. At the end of this scene, they say the words that is going to haunt them forever. They think they are pretty good at this marriage thing. They both agree on that. Maybe on day 3, but let's see what you think about how good you are on this marriage thing at the end of 8 weeks. I think that they will end up eating those words. We then see an interaction with Orion when he asked to watch Lauren lay down her edges. Here is my problem. I don't see someone explaining the process of laying down one's edges as sharing African American culture. Orion shares his culture. He explained the significance of the hair tie and putting his hair up in a bun and what that means in his culture. He shared the traditional dance at their reception. At every turn, he shares a piece of his culture. And in general, I think we as African Americans, either we don't know our culture or we are afraid to share our culture. I would love to have seen Lauren share a piece of the African American culture during her wedding by jumping the broom and talking about the significance of jumping the broom to African Americans. And the reason why we did it is because we weren't allowed to get married, and that is how we signified our love and union with one another, by jumping the broom. I actually have not seen Lauren share anything about the African American culture since the beginning of the show. However, maybe we see culture differently. So let me know what you think in the comments. If you think laying down edges is a cultural thing for African Americans. We then see a meaningful hammock conversation with Lauren and Orion, and they talk about their gender roles in the household, and they agree on a 70-30 split in the household, with Orion taking on 70% of the financial responsibilities and Lauren taking on the 30% split of the financial responsibilities. And Orion would like to move that up to 80-20, but it's going to take some time. We know that Orion lives with his parents, and it appears that he may be a new aspiring entrepreneur and trying to continue to get his business off the ground. I noticed that Lauren compliments Orion a lot. She talks about his looks and just, how glad she is to be with him, but he does not reciprocate it. It's not an exchange of compliments. And I'm not saying that I give you a compliment, you give me a compliment, but she compliments him a lot, and I feel like he doesn't really compliment her at all. So I don't know what that means. I really think that Lauren at this point has a deeper connection or affection for Orion than he has for her. It's the morning of day 4 of the marriage, and Lauren and Orion are drinking in the bathtub. Lauren asks if Orion uses the N-word, and he says not currently, but in the past he has out of ignorance and also when singing songs. She punches him for our ancestors, which I totally didn't get at all. I didn't even understand the meaning of that. I don't know what the point was for her asking him this question, but Orion shares that his elders corrected him and encouraged him not to use it, and he learned that it was not appropriate through the adults in his life. He then asked Lauren if she's ever used the word redskin. She says no and admits that she does not even know what the term means. As she watches his face turn red, she says she gets it and she lets out a laugh. He explains the horrible circumstances of why people turned red within his culture and how it was derived, and she immediately apologizes for her actions, but he is heated and reprimands her for her insensitivity. I love that Lauren stood up for herself, and also that she drew a parallel about how he responded when Cameron made an ignorant comment about culture and he brushed it off, and now she is making an ignorant comment and he is holding her feet to the fire. Orion used the excuse that say the word redskin is more impactful than reservation. And I am not disagreeing with that if that's the way he feels. However, she did not use the word in a derogatory way. She actually didn't even use the word. She even told him that she didn't even know what the word meant. So I really felt that he should have given her grace. When she laughed before he explained the history behind the word. So she was not making fun of his culture. And I think that he should have given her some grace. I see using the N-word in the past much more outrageous as her laughing because his face turned red when he was talking about the word redskin before she knew what it meant. See, I think that if she would have laughed and she knew what it meant, then okay, I would have been all on his side. But since she said, I don't even know what it means, and then she sees his face turn red and says, oh, I understand that it is, because you have red skin, is what she was saying. She didn't understand the context behind why they got the red skin, which I think is the outrageous part of the story. And I do not think she was making fun of his culture. But this is a very, very, very sensitive topic. And I know people have a lot of opinions about it. So let me know what you think about this in the comments section. I would love to know if you have a different opinion than mine. And that was the end of the episode. Now it is your turn. What do you think about Orion and Lauren? Will they be able to recover from their cultural conversation? Do you see Claire as a negative Nancy? What are your thoughts on the perfect love story of Austin and Becca? Do you believe the romance between Emily and Brennan is sustainable? Let me know what you think in the comments. That puts this episode in the books. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, live with intention. Be intentional.